Well, good evening everyone. Thanks again for joining me in the tool room. Dan here, and today is the 30th of December, so we've just had the Christmas break, and I thought it was about time I did another quick video. Now, the last week we looked at my Wera tool collection, didn't we? Well, today is the turn of my Knipex tool collection. Okay, now this is pretty much a show and tell. It's not going to be, excuse me, it's not going to be any kind of like review or anything like that. It's just going to be a bit of a show and tell and just show you what Knipex tools I've got. Now, I've actually entitled this video Knipex tool collection and new stuff. So a lot of the new stuff is actually this Knipex stuff, which I've spent my Christmas money on. It's come really, really quickly, so I'm really pleased with that. It's just got to me really quick. So part of it's going to be that. And then basically we're just going to look at a couple of other new things. There's only about 2 or 3 things, but they're not by Knipex. So hopefully not a massively long video tonight, but we'll just have a look at the tools individually, and you can tell me in the comments after what you think of them. So let's get into it then. What we'll do is we'll sort of push these aside. I can just show you what we're looking at now, and we'll get my fancy and very famous now camera stand out, and we'll have a look at them and their attributes one at a time. So bear with me, let's get straight into that. Okay guys, so as you know, Knipex is my go-to brand for most pliers and cutters and things like that. Love Knipex, and I'm just going to quickly show you each one. Now I've been asked to give model numbers, so I'm going to do that as well by someone, so I'll try and give you the model numbers as well if you want to buy it, and I'll kind of give you a rough price on what they're going to cost you, okay? So let's start off with this little guy. This is the Knipex Super Nips. Now these are the ESD handles, which means electrostatic discharge. Now these are normally used for things like little electronics, working on boards and things like that. These are the 7861 125, 125 mil long. For those of you who don't know, with Knipex, the first number there is the model number, so these are a 78 series. The 61 is usually the handle type, and the 125 is the length of the overall pliers or cutters, and then if it's got ESD at the end, that just means it's electrostatic discharge. And what that does basically, it stops, it kind of stops anything coming off you, I guess, onto the board. So rather than 1000-volt rated, this kind of stops you damaging what you're working on. So your body obviously gives off a bit of electrostatic charge through your skin naturally, like when you touch a trolley or something, sometimes in the supermarket you get a little zap. That's not the trolley, that's you causing that. And this basically protects whatever you're doing through these handles from you. So it's a little bit different. I originally bought these, they're very, very sharp. I originally bought these because I thought they'd be good for stripping 8-core wire, but they weren't particularly, if I'm honest. So they've got a very flush, flat edge on them. So basically these are used for cutting cable ties. I haven't found anything better for cutting cable ties really. They will do metal cable ties as well. So I use them, and they don't use sharp edges for someone, to cut themselves on. So they do have their uses, certainly. Now the ESD handles aren't going to protect you from electric shock in any way, but they are useful if you're in the sort of electronics. I just bought them because I didn't have any with these cool grey handles, and I thought it'd be nice to actually have, a bit of a change. So yeah, these are the Knipex 7861 125. These cost me about 23 quid, British pounds. If you want to stick that into dollars, I'm not going to work that out tonight as I have for you before, but just stick it into a converter in Google and I'm sure it'll work that out for you. Okay. These, I'm not going to go into too much detail of these. I've done a full review on this, so for anything on this basically, please check out my full review list. These are the Knipex installation pliers. Arguably my favourite tool I own. Awesome tools. Awesome's perhaps a bit strong, but it's only a tool at the end of the day. But yeah, a really, really amazing tool to be able to use. Get on to this year really. The reason I don't like calling them awesome is because I'm actually a religious guy. So in the Bible, it only uses the word awesome for God. So sometimes I use the word awesome for things like this, and then I feel a bit bad. So forgive me on that. That's why I'm saying, well, not awesome, because Obviously, you've got to get it into perspective. It's only a tool and it's a man-made object, but there we go. We might throw a bit of that in later. So any religious questions, I'm always happy to answer as well as tools. But yeah, these are the Knipex installation pliers, and these are model number 1386-200, so 200mm long. 200mm, nice good size for tools for me. I like 200mm tools, and yeah, that's sort of like my go-to size for most things. So that is the Knipex installation pliers. Knipex needle nose pliers. A lot of these tools have had little use actually. I always work in nice clean environments, and I'm more of a sort of service engineer, but I've got these tools if I need them, and these are my tools, personal tools for home as well. So I like to have a nice quality set of tools, and because they're used not like in daily use like an electrician would use them, these will last me a long time, which is why I forked out for the Knipex brand. These are the 2616-200s. So you've got the all of these have got the 1000-volt handles on them. That's my handle of choice. And these ones, I love them because they really just show off the machining that Knipex put into their tools, don't they? You've got your cutting blade there. I never use these to cut anything. I basically use these for pulling, and grabbing onto things. They're quite useful sometimes for removing fuses if they've got the plastic cases on them, so you don't have to press onto the fuse themselves. And they're really nice and long. I used to have 160mm versions of these, but I got rid of them in favour of the longer ones once I worked out what I liked. And yeah, again, a staple tool of anyone who works in any kind of electrical trade, be it fire alarms, be it full electrical, anything at all really. You can always use a needle nose pliers, and like any Knipex tool, they're just lovely and loose. They come out of the packet, ready to use, and love these tools. Right. And your bog standard, it's your 0306-200. This is your combination pliers. Again, chromed finish again, because we like chromed finishes because they just don't rust, which is great. This is the season now where your tools are going to get a bit wet. Going over all ground here, you know why I like these. You know why I like the 1000-volt handles if you've seen my videos before, because even though I don't always need them, why not have them? They do the same as if they don't have 1000-volt handles, so why not have them? And these ones are, these are really nice pliers. Again, the 200mm long ones. And yeah, a combination pliers. You've got your gripping surface, you've got your holding surface there, you've got your cutting surface. I'm going to start using these a lot more. I've got the Klein versions of these as well, and there's a video more in depth comparing these to the Klein ones, which you may be interested in. And before long, I'll do a video which actually compares them in daily use to see what they're like. So here we go. So this, I don't think I've actually even used this tool at all yet, to be honest. As you can see, it's pretty much brand new, as most of these tools are brand new. So before you start commenting, oh, they look brand new. Well, they are. So yeah. So yeah, that's the Knipex 0306-200. Oh, sorry, I've not been doing prices, have I? Right, so these are about £26. Okay, let's just rewind here. These again are about the same, probably about £26-27. These are about £45-50. These are really expensive. Okay, so yeah, sorry, that's the prices on them. Next up, my little tiddlers. These are the ones I bought in replacement of the little ESD Super Nips, and these are ones that work really well for doing little 8-core alarms. These are the 70-06125s. I've done a review with these as well. 1000-volt rated ones, little 125mm long cutters, and they're just a little bit more gentle for doing small cables that is a bit more delicate. So that's what these get used for. Again, great little cutters. These, again, not cheap. These are about 27 quid. Weirdly, just because they're smaller doesn't mean they're cheaper. It doesn't really work that way with Knipex. So yeah, about £27 these are. Well worth having. Again, only a few weeks old, like most of my tools of the Knipex collection, but I've heavily invested in Knipex now. I've decided these are the brand I like, and I've just, got rid of anything else really and just gone with Knipex on the cutters and pliers. So that's them, the 70-06125s. Again, we've had a full review of these. These are my most used ones. These have been used and abused, these ones. These are my 09-12-240 lineman's pliers. with the induction hardened blades, excellent gripping surface. They've got the crimpers, they've got the fish tape pullers. I've done a full review of these again. So these fantastic pliers. I much prefer them to the standard combination pliers, but they're much bigger, 240mm long. Again, I've shown you this before. Again, I've done reviews on these, and I've done comparison video between the difference between alignment pliers and the combination pliers. So I've done all that. So again, not going to talk anymore about these. These, just to point out, have got the, rather than the 1000-volt handles on them, these have got the blue and red comfort grip handles, and I'm pretty sure I've got every Knipex handle they do now, so we'll get to see these after a while. Difference is you don't get the buffers that stick out so much there, and obviously there's no electrical rating on these, but for lineman's pliers you don't really need them. And like I said before, you do get a compromise if you buy the 1000-volt rated ones, because you don't get the crimpers on them. So I wanted these ones. So yeah, okay, so that's the 09 12 240s, and you're looking at about 60 quid for these. 50-60 pounds. These are expensive and more difficult to get hold of as well. You can get them on Amazon, but yeah, they're not easy to get hold of. You don't get a massive choice because they're mainly American tools. Don't get them from the USA because they will cost you as much as the pliers in import and postage. So just try and pick up a pair when you can. Great pliers, recommend them for anyone. Right, these are the strippers, Knipex adjustable strippers. So basically the way it works, you alter this wheel here and it makes the hole in the end bigger or smaller for stripping any cables. And these are useful if you want to do multiple strips of the same size, or if you've got a short cable coming out and you just want to pull it in a downward fashion because you can't get, you haven't got enough room to strip outwards like that because it's a short cable. These are really useful for that. They're supposed to be spring loaded. There's supposed to be a spring going across there. But as I've said before, I can't stand sprung tools. They get on my nerves. These little ones here are sprung, but they're small enough that I can sort of put up with it because they don't take up that much room. And actually the way these sit in my bag, I put these in the pocket and then these kind of sit inside them like that, so I can put up with that. But when they're bigger like this, they do my head in. So yeah, these ones are the 11-08-160 series. Yeah, and you just adjust them to different sizes. So they're a useful little tool, and like I say, they come sprung, but I've removed it because I hate sprung tools, as I said. But yeah, these are great pliers. They don't get used very often, but they're one of those tools that when you do need them, they're invaluable. So they're just really great to have in your bag should you need them. They don't stay in my main service bag, but they do stay in my installation bag. So they live in there, and yeah, they just get used as and when I need them. Just to point out here, these are what you call the entramentized finish on them. So you've got the black there and the silver. So that's a different finish again, which can sometimes alter that number there. And also, it can alter whether it's got if you've got a T on the end, it might have a tethering point put on it. So there's lots of different ways to identify a Knipex tool. Because you've got on these, you'll have either 08 or you'll have 06. Now I do believe that the 08 and the 06, the difference between them is the entramentized finish and the chromed finish. I think if you have a chromed, because I had a set of 70 cutters, 160s. One was the entramentized finish, and that was a 70-08 160, and my chrome ones are a 70-06 150. So I think that can correspond to both the handles and the finish on them. So it takes a bit of learning, but you get there. And if you're going to do a YouTube channel, you need boring things like that. But yeah, not many people use these, but they do have their place, they do have their purpose, and it's just really handy to have a tool for everything, isn't it? Whatever you've got to do, you can reach for the right tool. So these are a great little tool, worth having. Probably about between about 20 and 25 pounds, these, I'd say, roughly. Probably more towards the 20 mark, because these aren't that popular. If you're clever, you can pick them up for about 15 in some places. I think I got these for about 15. Because they were 2012s and they just sat on the shelf and used brand new in the packaging, and I bought these last year. So yeah, used a little bit, but not much. The good old 70 series, the most famous of the Knipex cutters. These are just the little 70-06-160 cutters. Again, 06 chrome finish there, as you can see. These just really show off the you know, just the engineering in the Knipex. I mean, look, you just look at that. Look at the way that writing's just engraved into there. They just make that little bit of effort, don't they? They're understated. There's not too much to them. They're just a really nice little pliers. You'll always find with the Knipex cutters or pliers that the pivot point is always nice and close to the blade, so you can get a good bit of, you can get a good bit of leverage on them, regardless of the size of the handles. These are a good little medium cutters. I keep these in my installation bag. I don't use them that often, but it just saves me sort of carrying 2 bags around. I try and double up, so I've got a tool that can be used for both things, if I need them. I've had these for a little while now, about a year. They've been great little cutters. They've stayed nice and sharp. They stay in nice condition. And that's the good thing about these chrome ones. They stay in nice condition. If you look closely, they're covered in scratches. But, the handles and stuff, you tend to get like black marks around there, which tend not to come off. I don't know if you can just sort of kind of see it there. Some of them are a bit worse. For example, if I show you my installation pliers, you can see like around there, you see how you're getting the black marks on the edges there from use, but that doesn't tend to come off. I'm not sure why. But mostly you can just wipe the handles clean and they just come up like new. So there's no damage to them. They wear really well. Like I say, I don't really work in dirty environments. I'm normally indoors, anywhere that's got a fire alarm system I work in. But I'm repeating myself. I've said this in other videos if you watch my videos, but if you're new to the channel, you'll know that about me. So my tools stay pretty clean. But yeah, they wear really well. They wear really well, and they stay nice and sharp. So your standard 7006 160 side cutters. Now I said I prefer the 200mm handles. You can't get the 200mm handles of the 70 series, so you have to upgrade to the 74 series. These are more high leverage pliers. Again, the chromed finish. They're much stronger blades, they're stronger pliers. The pivot point again is nice and close, but these are a great set of pliers. Brand new. I haven't had these long, only a matter of weeks, and they're again lovely loose feeling pliers, comfortable to hold in the hand, very sharp, and will cut through most things. So these are good ones to have. And like I say, I don't necessarily need them to be this sharp. These will cut through fire cable if I need them, whereas the smaller ones struggle. I don't really use them for cutting through fire cable, to be honest. But yeah, they're just great to have. They'll do it if I want it, and they'll do everything else I need them to as well. But because I've got quite big hands, I just like the bigger handles. I find them more comfortable. So yeah, that's the 7406 200. These will set you back about 33-35 quid, something like that, are their cheapest. Obviously, if you don't have the 1000-volt handles are the most expensive handles you can buy. If you don't have them, you can get them a little bit cheaper. Going back to the 70 series, the 160s are probably going to set you back about the same as the little ones. These are about 27 quid. But these, if you get them at their cheapest, you'll get them at about 33. But that'll be sort of Amazon's choice ones. But they can go up to about 40 odd. It depends where you get them and what deal's on the day. So, but yeah, they are a step up from the 70 series. So on top of these, you can get like the X-cut versions, and you can get the step cut ones with the pivot, that moves around inside there. I forget what they're called now, but yeah, you can get ones like that as well. Now, what I was about to say something, but I'll come back to that in a second, actually, what I was going to say. But yeah, that's them. Right. Now I can move on to these. These are the Knipex alligators. 250mm long. I've just put those yellow things on so I can identify them, because a lot of people have got these. And these are slip joint pliers. They're great. I've had these for a while. And these are another handle. These are the dipped handles, but they are... they're the sort of high grip ones. So this is another type, a traumatized. And the way these work, they're sort of a slip joint, so you just slip them like that. The disadvantage to these is if you get them in the wrong place, you see they can do that, and they can get a bit stuck. So, and it's quite easy to do that, so you have to just be a bit careful how you do it. They're self-locking, just like the Cobras, so they're great pliers. And moving on now to my new stuff. I have just upgraded these to the Cobras, okay? So these are the Knipex Cobras. So these are these big brothers. They do the same thing, okay? But these are just more expensive. Differences are, you know, you've got the grey finish as opposed to the black, and you've got the moving button as opposed to the slip joint. Everyone knows Knipex Cobras. They're all over the internet, okay? They'll perform the same way, they'll do the same things, but these have got a lot more positions on them. These have got 20 odd positions, whereas these have got about 11. I did have the 300mm versions of these with the comfort grip handles on them as well, but they were the older versions and they actually opened less than these, so they were a bit useless. Opening wise, you've got the alligators here, which will open. I don't think I mentioned they're called alligators. So yeah, sorry, these are the alligator versions. Now it's been said that they open the same, but they don't. The Cobras will open more than the alligators, as you can see, okay? They will open considerably more. I've literally just had these Cobras. I had them yesterday in the post, and these are the special ones as well. These ones are the quick set ones, which means usually with the Cobras you have to press this button in order to move it, whereas this one you can just move it up and down like that. So you can just have a one-handed operation. As soon as you move it down, it'll lock into place. So whatever you want, you can slide it up, move it down, and it locks. And they can be distinguished by this little red button here, and it says quick set on the handles, and on the other ones you have teeth going down both sides with these ones. So these are the top of the line Cobras, these ones. They're going to set you back about 30 quid. I got these for £31, I believe, and that was the cheapest I could find them, and that's with the comfort grip handles on them, so that was pretty cheap for the quick sets as well. The alligators, I think I got these for £18.99 with the standard handles. So your alligators, you're looking at the 8801s 250, the Cobras are the 8722 250s, or if you want the standard Cobra, it's the 8702 250s with the comfort grip handle on them. So these are very comfortable handles. I like these. You know, I'm not going to go into details on these, but you know, they're either the alligators or the Cobras. Knipex are famous for their water pump pliers, best in the world. And you know, it's said that no one makes a better water pump pliers than these guys. And you know, once these are locked onto something, you can stand on the things and they ain't gonna move. They're fantastic pliers, and they've got the thin heads as well. And you've got, you know, they're built into this double wall as well, where a lot of them are just single, and you've got the thin heads on them, which are great. And you've also got the features on them as well, where you know, they're not going to squash your fingers. They've got a stopper on them so they don't squash your fingers. Major difference here actually between the Cobras and the alligators is that the it's just the way they are. I mean, this one sort of comes internally there and goes under this part, whereas this part, it goes over that part, so it's kind of strengthened. So that's interesting little difference there. But yeah, great pliers. Like I say, just had these, really pleased with these. Haven't used them yet, but looking forward to doing that. And I'll use these in conjunction with each other. You know, if I'm trying to undo some, you know, bolts or on emergency lights where you've got something both sides or something like that. But these are both going to go in my installation bag for bigger jobs, for install jobs. They're not going to get used in service because they're too heavy and they're too bulky to keep in your bag. With that in mind, I've ordered and received the two baby brothers. So this is the 8701-180. Now just for comparison of size. There you go. Okay, so this one's 180mm and this one's a little 125mm. As you can see what I was on about earlier, these have got the double things on this, so they're not the quick sets. There's no such thing as a quick set in these, and you can only get this type of handle. So this is the high grip handle again, dipped handle. Again, they're both self-locking, they work exactly the same way, and this one I thought would be really useful for just getting hold of those little tiny bolts inside. I bought a, what was it? It was a Barco adjustable spanner. It didn't actually work that well, to be fair, but these will be great for just loosening the little plastic caps in like MCPs and stuff like that, or working, you know, in a small little area inside a panel if I need to get to something in there. These will be great for that, because they're just small and tiny and that you can just use them. And if you watch the videos on these, you'll be surprised what you can actually undo with these. And then just for a bigger set of more use, just the 180mm Cobras, they're just small, they fit in my bag nicely, they're not heavy, they don't take up much room, and you know, they just work the same. And they open, as you can see, really wide. So I never work with bolts that big, you know, but you can't quite get the leverage. But yeah, I thought they'd be really good to have. Now these cost, I think these are about 20 quid, and these ones are about 16 quid, but I buy them off a chap on the internet. I will at some point, when I review these properly, I'm going to give you the name of that site where you can get them from. They're called Garden Tools, I believe, something like that, on eBay, and he does the cheapest Knipex tools of anyone I know. And when I do the review of these tools properly, these new tools, I'll put his website on and a link to it, so you can actually get to that. But I believe they're called Garden Tools or something like that. And he does a lot of Knipex stuff. He's also on Marketplace as well. So check out the stuff on there if you're in the UK. So yeah, these are them. And so I keep these. These are the little ones I keep in my service bag. So there's those. And lastly, the pliers. I actually invested. I could never justify these before because they were just too damn expensive. But these are the Knipex self-adjusting ratchet pliers, they call them. They don't literally ratchet, but what they do is you can get onto a bolt, and then you don't have to take it off, readjust it, put it back on, because you can just loosen it slightly, turn it, loosen it, grip it, and you can just turn it almost like a ratcheting feature. And the difference of these is they've got flat jaws on them, so they're not going to damage anything. Like if you're working on chrome or something like that, you know, they're not going to damage it. And these, actually thinking about it, might be a little bit better on the fire MCPs actually, because they're not going to damage the plastic. And you know, you can see the jaws move up and down in perfect sort of, you know, the flush of each other. They move at the same sort of angle. They don't change angle like the Cobras do. So yeah, now these ones are the 180mm ones, and these are about 33 quid on their own if you can get them the cheapest. That's why I got it off Gardener Tools from, and you know, that was cheaper than anywhere else I could find them. Now, just to bring your attention to the handles, these are the 8603 180s. So 86 is the ratcheting pliers, 87 are the Cobra pliers, 88 are the alligator pliers. Just bring attention to these. These are the dipped handles, but they're not the high sort of grip ones. So these are just the shiny ones. So the advantage of these is they wipe cleaner a lot easier. So I thought I'd try these ones out. These are also the new versions of the pump pliers. You can see they've been made lighter, thinner, and they've got a bit more design about them. So these are the newer versions of them. So I haven't tried these out yet. I've just literally received these today, along with these. I've had all these today. So yeah, looking forward to trying them out. And I've taken the plunge, and you know, to pay 33 quid for something that big is a bit painful, but you know, it just adds to my collection, and you know, hopefully I'll get a good bit of life out of these. And if I like them, I may invest in the bigger ones as well. You can get a 150mm one as well, which is even smaller. But I thought, I watched a few reviews, and the 180mm one seems to be a good sort of compromise between getting enough leverage and fitting in a small gap. So I thought these are perfect for my service bag. Last but not least are these guys, these monsters. These are the 95 16-200s. Now, these ones are a bit more complicated on the numbers. Now, the 95 06 200s sort of look more like that. That's worked quite well, actually. They've only got the one blade on the front, okay? And the 95 16 200s have the double nose on them. Now, the top part here is for scoring cable, and then that's for cutting cable. This lives in my service bag. It's for cutting fire cable and things. It's just a shears for cutting fire cable. This lives in my install bag. Sorry, my service bag, I use those for shearing, so they work quite well. But yeah, I wanted another pair, and I wanted it for that, you know, for shearing action. I had a pair of these before, the smaller ones that look like that, and I got rid of them. Kind of regretted getting rid of them actually, but they didn't have the 1000-volt handles on them or anything. Now these are pricey little bounders. I got these for 38 quid, I think, and that was very cheap. These are the ones that are going for, like, you know, 56, nearly 60 quid. These ones, they are expensive. I've heard wonderful things about them. I've only had them today, but I've heard there's not much they won't cut through. Do not cut steel, it says on them, But yeah, these are these. So the 95 series shears. Don't use them in your garden for pruning plants. That's not what they're for, okay? But again, nice quality one, chrome finish, and you can see the riveting on them is really nicely made and really nicely done. Now, one thing I want to point out here, I mean, they call, you got your pliers here, and they call them the alligators, they call them the cobras and things like that. They don't bother naming these ones. I think it would be cool if Knipex did name these ones, and I think it would be quite cool if they named all their pliers and gave them cool little animal-y names. Because yeah, I think that would be quite cool, really, if they did that. They've got other ones as well, which I don't own and have no use for, called raptors. So some of them they name, some of them they don't. But just a little note to Knipex. I keep changing my pronunciation. I do appreciate that. But call them all a cool name. You can call these like I don't know. You could call these like, they look a bit like a pterodactyl. You could call this the Knipex pterosaur. That would be way cooler than the 95 16 200. Don't be so serious about it. Call them the Knipex pterosaurs. That would be cool. Or the Knipex pterosaur. There we go. I like it. Good names. So yeah, I mean, if you can think of any suggestions what we should call all these tools, then that would be quite cool. We could have the Knipex Vipers and the Knipex Behemoths, or whatever you want to call it. Behemoths, that's another good name for these. Yeah. But yeah, I just think they should all have cool names, not just a couple of them. Right, so that's the Knipex collection. Okay, that's everything I have. And hopefully they will last me many, 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 many years. So it's a case with them of buy once, cry once. Okay, moving on. Now these are non-Knipex tools, but I've just bought them. So I got these as a set. I don't think it's even going to fit on the camera. It's not, so let me just move. So it's this. It's I've just bought Klein tools. I've scratched all this already since I put it in my bag. I just bought today a Klein tools hacksaw. It's quite cool. You can actually put a small blade on the front of there. I've left that in my bag, so I won't get it now. So you can saw like small things, which the handle doesn't get in the way. Really heavy, nice quality tool this. Lots of different adjustments on it, and in here as well you've got like a little sort of area where you can actually keep spare blades, which is quite cool. But yeah, I saw this, and this was reduced as a set with this little Klein sort of plasterboard saw, which is the sort of entry-level one, but it was like 18 quid for the both, which is quite good really, for Klein tools, because they're hideously expensive. I've already got the folding jab saw, but I thought again this one will go in my in-store bag, so I got a bit in each, and then this is really good for cutting trunking and things like that, so I thought that was useful to have. And I've been after a nice hacksaw for a while, actually, because I mean, wait there, I'll just show you this hacksaw. It's just terrible, bear with me. So this is the hacksaw I've had beforehand. It's a black spur one. I don't even know what that is. I mean, you can see someone actually wrote on it in the shop. That's how much people care about it. I think they're £8.50 on it, aren't they? But it's rubbish. And it's got this kind of, you do it up this way on the end as well, which pulls it tight. But this one's got a far better method of tightening it. And it's sort of more on a pulley system, which is really nice. It just feels like a nice, comfortable saw to use. It feels a much better quality. And it's great. I mean, the jab saw, there's nothing really to say about it. It's got a good, strong, solid blade on it. I mean, compared to, like, say, a cheap jab saw like that, where it's quite floppy, It's longer as well. It's got a nicer, more comfortable handle. It feels a bit more solid, So, yeah, it's a jab saw and a hacksaw. So, nothing too exciting, but I just thought I'd show you anyway. Now, the last thing I had today, now remember I did, which no one's really that interested in, I did a video of my work watch, and I was boasting that this cost me, this watch cost me £8.90 posted, and it's lasted really well, and as you can see, I've used this every day for work. I've given it a wipe over, and it's in really good condition. However, it's a sort of homage to one of those Casio Mudmasters. However, it has now broke. So the digital works on it, but the hands are broken, so this no longer works, so I've had to replace it. And this is that brand Small. Okay, so what I bought instead is this. Now I've bought yet another Smalvo watch, and I was hoping to be able to boast about this to you because I was really quite pleased with this, but as I've taken it off now, I've seen I've got condensation inside the screen. Look at that, that's not cool. Now I remember having this problem actually with this watch when I first bought it, and it kind of happened once and then never happened again. So hopefully this will be the same thing, but I think I will send a picture of this to eBay, where I got it off. This one was a far altogether more expensive one. This one was $10.99. It's of a metal construction. This one is actually metal. Does pretty much the same function. Shows you day, date, and time. But again, it's just another cheap watch I use for work. Quite a solid construction. Great big thing, but again, not a tool I know. But I just thought I'd show it as a work watch. So yeah, wasn't expecting to have to tell you that. I was expecting to say how pleased I was with it, but now I've seen that, not so much. So there we are then. Not a great start, so hopefully they'll send me a replacement one if I take a picture of that, as that's not particularly good, is it? But there we go then. So I mean, my old one lasted me about a year and a half, so for £8.90 I can't really complain. You know, it's not even worth replacing the battery in them for that price, is it? So yeah guys, the Knipex collection, and some new stuff. So big fan of Knipex tools. I recommend them to anybody. I wouldn't change them. I hope you've all enjoyed this video again. Sorry it was a bit of a lengthy one, but if you want to see my tools, I have to go through them, don't I? And you can see why I didn't go into too much detail about them. Like and subscribe, guys. Again, thank you for everyone who's liked and subscribed so far. Thank you for everyone who's commented. I've really enjoyed reading them all. I've tried to reply to all of them. Keep on doing so, please, guys. Comment, hit the bell icon so you can get news of when I bring up my new videos. Have a great night, guys. Merry Christmas to you all, and as we're getting into the new year, Happy New Year to you all. Let's hope it's an easier one for all of us, and now these vaccines are rolling out, let's hope that the situation improves for everyone. So good night everyone, and God bless, and I'll speak to you all on the next video. Bye.